You're listening to Ticket to Anywhere, an award-winning travel essential podcast hosted by Leah and Trizzy, two Asian American women with 23 years of combined travel experience.
We are your first stop to infinite travel, giving you the gear, tools, and tips for a more travel-filled life.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Trizzy at Triz Inc., and I am rolling solo today for this episode. The other co-host, Leah at LA in Flight, is on her way back from the Philippines, and unfortunately, we can't record while she's on the plane because Wi-Fi isn't that strong yet, but it is getting there. For today's quick episode, it's just me running down current events in the travel space right now and just giving my take, my opinions on it. And the tea of the episode is this flower jasmine tea. ASMR pouring it in. So cheers to another episode and let's dive right in. And I'm not a news reporter, news broadcaster. I have no ounce of blood of journalism in my veins. So this will be a fun episode to try and create and entertain you with. So due to what we all understand, the impacts of the increased prices of imports, the tariffs, under the new administration of the United States of America, there is a potential result in decline in Canadian travel to the United States. This is a huge deal because most of the United States tourism involves international visitors from Canada. And as of 2024, last year, visitors from Canada equal to 20.4 million, and it helped generate about $20.5 billion in spending, and it helped supported about 140,000 American jobs. So there's a possibility that there's going to be a 10% reduction of Canadian visitors to the United States, meaning there's going to be about 2 million fewer visits from Canadians. There's going to be a loss of about $2.1 billion and potentially 14,000 jobs. And per the ustravel.org website, there is a quote from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stating, "Now is the time to choose Canada. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national parks and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destination of our great country." And I have to agree, Canada, I haven't even gone to a lot of Canadian national parks, but from what I've seen and what I've heard about the national parks out there, it's just so beautiful. So I ain't even mad. Like, go to Canada. Go to Canada or stay in Canada, do staycation. Canadians, do your thing. You guys have beautiful landscapes and a rich history there, so it's fine if you don't want to deal with the US politics on this side. I get it. And if you do want to hear more about what Banff National Parks and even Jasper has to offer, we do have an episode out that talks a lot about Banff National Parks, and that is episode 83. All the article, all the links that I'm getting all these information for that I'm going to mention will be in the description or in the show notes. Moving on to the next most recent news, as of today, April 3rd, Thailand is going to implement a digital arrival card starting May 1st. This system has already rolled out, but mandatory digital arrival cards starts May 1st. And via skift.com, travelers, regardless of their mode of transportation by air, land, or sea, they would need to pre-register online up to 3 days before arrival, providing personal and travel details such as passport information and accommodation addresses. That sounds kind of like a visa form to me. This is implemented to try and expedite the arrival process through immigration, and it will replace their traditional TM6 arrival form. This Thailand news comes after the pretty big Myanmar earthquake that also hit Thailand's capital, Bangkok. It was about a 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Thousands of fatalities occurred. And if you're wondering if the airport, Bangkok's airport, is still operational, yes, it is. But I will suggest just kind of be a little bit more mindful with travel going to Bangkok and find out some ways to help the local communities cope with this crazy natural disaster. So, our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to all the families, communities, businesses affected by this earthquake in Myanmar and in Thailand. On a domestic note, recent news, specifically in New York, their subway map, the MTA, has been finally updated, and this is huge news because the last design that they had was back in 1979. So they're rolling out a new subway map throughout all the trains in the area, so look out for that. It's big news for me in LA because LA, we have an we have a transportation system that's trying, but I am not like the hugest fan of New York, but I really, really do appreciate and am grateful for the type of transportation, public transportation that they have out there. So I'm pumped about this. I don't know. I know it's like small news, but at least it's fun news. And nowadays, we need some positive, fun, entertaining news. And now we're going to move on to national parks, because national parks holds a very, very dear place in my heart. If you have not heard, this is probably going into the second month of our current administration reducing funds into the national park, which led to a lot of firing of the employees of the National Park Service. This results in a lack of park maintenance and public safety and visitor services. I don't know about you, but I love, love, love going to visitor centers because I get to see how the parks look like before it naturally transformed into what it is now, and just learning about the history, the geological history. It's just something that I think we all need to hear, read, educate ourselves about so we could respect everything around us. So now that a lot of the employees have been fired, we run into a risk of these visitor centers not even being able to operate, or we're not going to be able to have guides talk about how arches became arches, or why the color of these rocks are different from the color of these rocks. As we learn more and more about these staff getting fired, we also learn that a lot of them, they really just do it for the enjoyment of being out in nature and being able to connect with people, like-minded people, and they just have a love and passion for Earth, for Mother Nature. So the priority isn't to make millions and millions of dollars. These people who got fired were making minimum wage. So when they got fired, there's probably not a lot of savings to live off of after being let go. So to help fight this, there's a few things you could do, and I could do too. Could contact the representatives at your Congress, the White House, and just demand them to reinstate the jobs, put funds back into the National Park Service, and we can also donate to the National Parks Conservation Association and the National Park Foundations. We could attend protests and rallies, and also we could volunteer as well. I've always thought about volunteering. And because of these staff shortages, recently Arches, they closed down their fiery furnace hike, which required a permit and a highly recommended guided tour. But you could also do it self-guided, but because there's a chance you might get lost within the labyrinth of the maze of these beautiful rocks, they recommend you doing this hike with a guide. But because of the shortage, there will be no guide. And as of now, that hike is closed indefinitely and it's a very popular hike. I recently just went to Arches. That was one of the hikes that I wanted to do. But for the dates that we were going to attend the national park, the permits were all sold out. So it's $10 per person. If you are interested in seeing my time around Arches National Park, I do have a YouTube video on my Maui and Trizzy page, so I'll leave that in the description and the show notes as well. Branching off of national parks, if you have been seeing a lot of volcano activities on your screen, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, it's not because volcano activity is increasing. So I don't think that's anything to worry about. Because I looked into it because I've been seeing a lot about Hawaii and I've been seeing a lot about Iceland. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got back from the Hawaii island, which is commonly known as Big Island. And we hiked an active volcano and we were kind of chasing eruption, basically. Spoiler alert, we didn't catch an eruption, but we did see a lava flow, which was still just as amazing. But basically, I've just been seeing a lot of volcanic eruptions. I looked into it to see if it's something that we have to worry about because one of the goals of this year is to see an active eruption. We don't have anything to worry about because the fact that we're seeing a lot more volcano activity is because of the accessibility of being able to see these videos. There's live feeds, there's webcams, there's people moving closer to the volcanoes. So they're catching it on their phone, they're posting it right away. So it's just the accessibility of being able to see different volcano actions. So yeah, it's just the increase in people, increase in technology that is making it seem like volcanoes are erupting like every single day, every second. But no, it's not. What we learned from our past trip to the Big Island and wanting to chase the volcano eruption is that if you want to catch the Kilauea volcano, it's very active after every 5 to 10 days. So stay around the volcano for 5 to 10 days, I would suggest. We were there for 3 nights, and the day before we arrived, it was fountaining for about 13 hours. And then it paused by the time we got there. And then when we had left, we were getting onto our plane, and then I see the live feed of the volcano, and it's starting to erupt. So literally 3 days is not enough. Between 5 to 10 days, for Kilauea specific, is the sweet spot. Also, my Maui and Trizzy YouTube channel, we just released an episode about our time on the Big Island. So check that out if you are interested. And like I said, just trying to keep this episode short and simple. And sorry that you guys had to listen to my voice for X amount of minutes. We will have Leah back and we will get together again. So thank you all for listening in on another episode of the Ticket to Anywhere podcast, and we will catch you on the next episode. To find even more travel tips on budgeting, destinations, and our favorite items, sign up for our monthly newsletter, The Check-In, linked in the show notes or description.